morning and welcome. Happy Tuesday. I'm back. I know you guys probably missed me. Yesterday, I took a day off. Yeah, I took a day off. A buddy of mine gave me a call and said, hey, how would you like to go to the Waste Management Open? And I responded like I normally do. No thanks. I don't want to go out with 2, 3, 4, 500,000 people. That's not fun for me. And he started laughing. He goes, no, I don't mean like Thursday, Friday, Saturday. He goes, today. And I'm like, what? It's Monday. He goes, yeah, they got the bunch. I'd call it the vendors are playing, the golfers are doing practice, whatever it is. I'm not even sure. I didn't really see any golf. And, we had this tent, and they fed us and free drinks and all that stuff. So I went. We had a great time. There wasn't a lot of people there, like where I was at. You had to have a certain thing, and couldn't have been 1,000, maybe 500 people, and it was a great time. The weather was outstanding. I will say this, so I gotta let you know, as we were coming in. They have, for those of you that don't know, we have the golf tournament here in town, the Phoenix Open. It's the biggest golf party there is. It's the one event where, it's not real quiet and everybody's dressed up or hardly dressed, depending on which way you want to go there. And hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people go to this, and it's always Super Bowl weekend. And the reason is the PGA was like, number one, it's the only place, the only tournament we can host that can compete with the Super Bowl and still have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people come out every day. And when the Super Bowl's actually here, it gets even crazier. But neither here nor there, as we're walking in, Waste Management host this tournament. And we can argue whether or not they should, right? They're the ones, they pick up our trash, okay? They're the trash company here. Why does the trash company have to spend all that money to host a golf tournament when they could just simply, lower our trash bill? But neither here nor there. We're walking in, and there's a brand spanking new trash truck. And when I was growing up, and this was something, it scarred me for life. Everybody in the neighborhood, I was not there. I was probably at a baseball practice or something. All the other kids in the neighborhood were doing this is most likely to be president, not in school. This is just the neighborhood. Most likely to be a CEO, and most likely to this and that. You know what they said I was most likely to be? The trash man. And this was my opportunity. Brand new truck. I got on the side and hung on to it. But anyway, nope, I don't do the trash, but I do something that can keep your assets protected. Talking about gold and silver. 800-951-0592 is the toll-free number. If you haven't done it yet, what are you waiting for? I guess you want the price to be even higher. Speaking of higher, gold's up again today. 1,310 now, up about 7. Silver approaching $16 to the ounce. Wall Street the Nasdaq's down 60, 70 points. The S&P's down 6, 7. The Dow has been up, but it just touched into negative territory. We'll watch that. The website, allamericangold.com. Don't forget the metals program. Sign up for that. I got a lot of great things we're going to talk about. Before I do, you know what? I got to believe if you're in Minnesota, Wisconsin, Illinois, you're going to want to come to the Valley of the Sun. My son, as most of you know, my oldest son, plays football for Lake Forest College, which is right on Lake Michigan. It's north of Chicago, about 45 minutes north of Chicago. And he always said, I want to go somewhere where it's colder. I just saw that saying that it could be negative 60 by tomorrow. They're calling it the polar vortex, the coldest it's ever been. That they said just going outside, you can get frostbite in a matter of a couple of minutes just by going outside. So it's about 70-something degrees here. The weather's fine. Don't come. We're full. We should have no more snowbirds. No more people moving over. They're going to tear up the 101 over right near the office here. It's going to be a mess. That's going to take, who knows how long it's going to take. It's one of those projects where they start messing with the freeways. It takes 3 years to build. They're getting ready to do it. So what does that have to do with gold and silver? Absolutely nothing. But now I've given you the weather. We talked about sports. By the way, shout out to my younger son. He just sent me a text about 10 minutes ago. He's been invited to the Blue-Gray All-American Camp. Big deal for people that follow that. He's a sophomore in high school. He had a great sophomore season. He's also a football player. So pretty exciting for him, and I'll let you know how it goes. So there you go. 800-951-0592. I will say this. Wendy diseased the whole office, and now I'm feeling something that I'm not liking. Patriot Radio News Hour. We'll be back after the break. 800-951-0592. Saying before the break, hold on a minute. Thought I was going to sneeze. Sorry about that. Wendy, so I was here yesterday because I was planning on working. And Wendy comes in, and she's all sick. And as I told you, my wife, she's been sick for a couple of weeks, but I used my superhuman powers to thwart it off. And this morning I came in, I felt fine. And then about 7:30 or so, I had a little, kind of a little bit of a cough, a little congested. And I didn't think a lot of it. Thought, maybe yesterday I was out in the sun and had a few cocktails. Now I'm put it this way. I'm using my superhuman powers again because this one, I'm not going to let it get a hold of me. But if I have to go to the cough button, well, you just walked in here. Why are you in here? I just said you're diseasing everything. Why are you here? She's out of it. You got to push it up. There you go. Not really. Get into the mic. Got to be loud.
Can you hear me?
I can.
Can anybody hear me?
I don't know if they can.
I don't know. I can't hear.
So anyway, no, I don't think so.
Why not?
I don't know. So we're working on stuff in the studio. So good. Go back out of here. Anyway, Wendy's trying to say she didn't do it. She obviously did. That's all it takes. You breathe all over me. Yes. And if I would have got it from her, I'd already had it. See? Anyway.
You guys can call later. I'll be working from home.
Nope.
So I'm not deceiving anybody.
Nope, too late. 800-951-0592. I'm so glad that microphone did not work. But I wanted to talk about what I was going to do yesterday. And you better get with it. When and I made a joke about, hey, all you people in Minnesota, Wisconsin, Chicago, you're freezing, right? Come down here. When you do this, you want to research stuff, right? Buying a house, you research, right? You go out to Zillow or whatever it is. Hey, picking a restaurant, right? You go out and you look at what Yelp and reviews and all that stuff. When you buy gold, why do people buy gold from us? Really simple. No one complains. Nobody. How do you do that? It's hard to do in this day and age, but we just do what we say we're going to do. We keep our spreads low, and you always get your stuff. I mean, those are the keys to success. Go figure. But you always do your homework, right? You're got kids at school, right? Got to get your homework done. 9 times out of 10, right? Every student that's doing poorly in school, you go to the school, what do they say? He doesn't do his homework, right? You know, you got to do your homework. As you think about financial homework, this is something, right? They try to convince us, oh, don't worry about it. You don't need to do it. We got other people that will do your homework for you. Right? Because they don't, let's face it, why is that? Because they don't want you to actually do the homework. Because if you do, you'll realize that this is just a big Ponzi scheme. That's all it is. That's what this fake fiat money really is. It's a Ponzi scheme. They just don't want you to know it. And you know what? Just like all governments do it, right? They all put out all these reports. Right? Here we are. We've got the computer. I can go out and look at the national debt, and it will update it to the second. And yet we get all of these reports that the government says, you know what? Yeah, we can give them a really accurate, all right? We can tell you exactly what's happening, but we don't want to do that. We want to adjust it, right? We want to change the number. And they come up with all the, think about this. We're in the first quarter here, right? First quarter 2019. And this quarter for GDP, that they've got the adjustment, the seasonal adjustment. And now that hasn't been working very well because the number keeps coming in so low that they say, something's got to be wrong. Let's do an adjustment to the adjustment. And Jason says it to me all the time. Joe, I hate this. All these economic reports you give, it's all fake news. All these reports you give out, it's fake news. It's not the actual number. This is the number after they go in and make all these adjustments to try to make it what, here's the funny thing. They don't make the adjustments for the numbers to be worse. Like, man, you know what? We need to do it because it's just too good. The numbers are too good. No. It's always the other way around. Right? We want to make it appear that things are better than what they actually are. And your whole financial well-being is predicated on bogus. You don't believe me? Japan. And remember, I tell you, we're like Japan, but a little different. See, Japan, they're ahead of us a little bit debt-wise. And they don't have, the Japanese yen, it's a reserve currency, but, nobody uses it. Right? Japan uses it. That's about it. Everybody else, it's more of a trade thing. What do they call it? The carry trade, right? The gimmick. Well, they're just like us. Matter of fact, our central bank has done a lot of the exact same things that the Japanese central banks have done. Matter of fact, our central bank didn't create quantitative easing. No. Japan did it first. Right? And I told you, just watch them because they aren't growing either. Over the weekend, a report came out about the Japanese and about, more specifically, the data that they have been producing. And they said a recent news that the Japanese Labor Ministry has been publishing erroneous statistics for years now. They've raised doubts about not only the accuracy of the economic analysis that was released by the Bank of Japan, right? So think about us, right? We got our labor, right, and Bureau of Labor Statistics and all that, and they do all these reports, and who do they do them for? They do them for our central bank. Same in Japan. Is now causing investors to doubt absolutely every economic report being published in Tokyo. Could you imagine? And I'll go back to Ron Paul. You know, we talked about Ron Paul last week, and he had the simplest, most basic thing that all of you, it's so easy for all of you to understand. Why is transparency a bad thing at the central bank? Why? Listen, if they were so good, if they were doing it the way it should be done, if they were above board, they should welcome it. They should be like, absolutely, yes. Let's be so transparent because we want to show you just how good we really are. Absolutely, come on in. Hey, let me tell you what. I'll send a lift to go pick you up. Yeah, come on in. What day do you want to come? What do you want to see? They don't want them to come at all. Matter of fact, what do? They come out on TV. Again, the media is so corrupt. You know that. So corrupt. That's why you got to support us up there at KHNC in Colorado. There's not another radio station like it. But it's so corrupt that they go out on TV and tell you, oh, no, we can't have that. Right? And they act, and they give you all these really, well, it would jeopardize our independence. Transparency would? Really? You mean you couldn't do your job effectively if you had to tell us what it was that you did? Hey, we're not asking to be part of the conversation of what you did. Just whatever you decide, show it. Show us. What did you decide? Let us see it. Now I got a funny feeling of why. For those unfamiliar with the latest economic fake news scandal, that's pretty funny. Japanese Labor Ministry revised its monthly labor survey from 2012 through 2018, admitting that it had overstated nominal year-on-year wage increases by as much as 0.7% between January and November of last year. That's just one example. And by the way, 0.7% in wages is huge. That's astronomically big. Unfortunately, there was many, many other examples. Thursday, so that was Wednesday that report broke. Thursday, nearly half of Japan's key economic government statistics need to be revised with 22 discrete statistics. By the way, just in case you want to know, they used 56 total. So they're saying 22%, 40% of the economic releases are turning out to be fake. In other words, the Bank of Japan deliberately changed the numbers. And they go through and they said that the Because, again, remember, they're the ones that invented QE. Right? They're the ones that said, hey, listen, this will get inflation going. Let me remind you what inflation really is. And I try to do this as often as I can. Inflation is simply devaluation. And all of you know, if you went 10 years without a raise, you're getting poor, and you know it. 20 years without a raise, you're like, I went from middle class to lower middle class to now I'm just flat out poor. And the government comes out with these reports telling you, oh, no, we got inflation's at 2%. It's right near our target. They just made that number up. Why not, though? When you think about it, why make a number up? Well, why not? We make up all the numbers. And, of course, nobody wants to talk about it, but this is why you listen to my show. Go look it up for yourself. And again, well, you think it's just them? Right? I don't even know how they got caught, but they did. I hope you have something besides the Ponzi scheme for your future. 800-951-0592. Patriot Radio News Hour. We'll be back after the break.
This is the Phyllis Schlafly Report from Phyllis Schlafly Eagles, a national volunteer organization founded by Phyllis Schlafly and continuing to uphold her legacy by opposing radical feminism and representing a traditional conservative perspective in our nation's capital. And now, from the archives of Phyllis Schlafly Eagles, here is Phyllis Schlafly.
When the subject of homeschooling comes up, someone usually raises the question of socialization. Critics of homeschooling cannot deny that homeschooled students are every bit the academic equal attend regular schools, so they shift to the assertion that education is more than academics and that proper socialization can take place only in a traditional school setting, preferably spending a lot of time with children in the same age group or grade. The McGraw-Hill Dictionary of Scientific and Technical Terms defines socialization as the process whereby each child learns to get along with and to behave similarly to other people in the group, largely through imitation as well as group pressure. The Dictionary of Cultural Literacy defines socialization as learning the customs, attitudes, and values of a social group, community, or culture. The common theme of various definitions of socialization is behavior that conforms to the group. The question for parents is, do you want your children to conform to the group? Most homeschooling parents want to prepare their children to think for themselves and to make wise decisions when they are on their own. They don't want their children socialized to become mindless robots for the current culture or to develop attitudes, beliefs, and behaviors that are not in their best interest. Homeschooling parents believe that homeschooling provides teens with positive role models to help them make better choices and to avoid the destructive behaviors so prevalent in the public schools. Homeschooling teaches them to resist peer pressure and mass media marketing of undesirable products and behaviors. Let's cheer the homeschoolers. They are doing just fine.
This has been the Phyllis Schlafly Report from Phyllis Schlafly Eagles. The liberal agenda is corrupting classrooms in colleges and schools across the country. If you're a parent, teacher, or administrator who really cares about our children, we promise to keep you informed at phyllisschlafly.com. And let us hear from you at phyllisschlafly.com. Thanks for listening, and join us again next time for the Phyllis Schlafly Report.
800-951-0592. That is our toll-free number. Quick look here at the markets. Gold's been up all day. Up right now, $6, $13.09. Silver's up 10 cents, $15.85. The Dow is mixed. The government's back to work, at least for a few weeks. Good or bad doesn't matter. You know my opinions on this, and I'll keep saying we need less government, not more. Period. The fact that this is such a big problem, right, tells you it's way too big. That's my only comment on it. Good, bad, or indifferent. I think the closure was ridiculous, but it just shows you now. Again, it's another example. All the news is fake. All the reports, they're all made up. I mean, they got a little bit of truth, right? It's like The Blind Side. You ever see the movie The Blind Side? Michael Orr. What was her name? What was that actress? Sandra Bullock. And they tried to end the movie. He never knew how to play football. Yes, he did. Make no mistakes about it. He was a great football player before he got there. But that wouldn't be nearly as good of a movie. All of these reports that we all accept without any transparency whatsoever. Even though, let's face it, they do tell, we change them. They change every number. Every number's got to be changed. Every report. Fine. Change them. But before you do, tell us what the real number was. Simple enough. And then you can change to whatever you want. Right? You want to say that inflation's 2%? Fine. But before you do that, tell us what it really was, and then tell us, okay, but we want to say 2. There's not a person I know, not one, that thinks inflation's 2%. And by the way, federal government, I know this is going to shock people, no one actually thinks that's lower either. I would love it to actually be 2%. Of course, we know, I don't even know, I'm thinking it's somewhere between 5 and 10. Today we had another one of these numbers. This was one of the, what I call the soft data numbers. Right? They allegedly call people. The conference board, the Consumer Conference Board, does the Consumer Confidence Report. Yeah. And Wall Street actually goes up or down on these reports. Today, the number wasn't good. They said that the consumer that they've been calling keeps saying, hey, we're getting less confident. And one of the things in the report was, what are you the least confident about? Is it what's happening right now? You know what they said? It's okay right now. Then they asked them, how about 6 months from now? That's when things got really scary. A number of above 100 is considered good. When it hit 138, this soft data confidence number, I told you that was the top. Came out here for a whole week. Hey, we're at the top. Consumer confidence number, that's the top. All new, all-time record high. Was it? I don't know, right? Because they adjust all the numbers. Now fallen since that point. That was 3 months ago, by the way. Fallen every month since then. It's down to 120 today. They were hoping for 124. By the way, they also revised the month before that lower as well. But the 6 months from now number, it fell the most ever in 50 years. The reading was in the 70s, so obviously well below 100. This is where people think is going to be 6 years from now. This year, expecting more jobs 6 months from today, down to just 14%. That's the biggest 2-month drop since 1968. People that believe that their lifestyle is going to improve over the next 6 months also fell by the largest amount since 1968. You know, it's so funny. What else is in the 60s? Oh, jobless is the lowest since 1968. They both can't be true. But I'm just letting you know. See, because this is very important. Because if people think things are getting worse, what do they do? I want to cut back a little bit. Now, use that for business. What do you think Wall Street business is going to do? They're getting creamed in China. Japan just came out and said that all our data is fake, right? Who knows where we're really at? They're not growing, right? Europe's is horrible as well. Things at best are slowing here. They're going to be cutting back. And listen, this is why the central bank has all of a sudden found religion. See, they wanted to believe all of their fake reports. Go back to their meeting in December when they were sitting there and got all hawkish after they raised rates and said, yep, we're going to keep going. Everything's great. Remember the Dow was like, what, 27,000? Went all the way down to 21,000 and change. We had a bear market for one day, right? The Christmas Eve massacre. And now they're trying to convince you, oh, it's okay now because the central bank got, they got their act together. Did they? Or do they know what I already knew? Patriot Radio News Hour. We'll be back right after the break. Caterpillar yesterday. Big miss. Big miss. Well, and again, I said, hey, orders are slowing quickly. Harley Davidson today. Well, I hope you didn't own that stock. They're down almost double digits today. The biggest quarterly miss of consensus since 2009 out of Harley Davidson. GAAP earnings. Now, for those of you that don't remember GAAP, generally accepted accounting principles. Fancy way for saying, right, this is the number without bull crap. Okay? This is the number before they seasonally adjust. Right? So this is for corporations. Right? Generally accepted accounting principles. In other words, you can't take stuff out that isn't legal to do. And remember, after the tech bubble, right? After they ripped you all off, all of them, right? They've been telling us forever, 401k, 401k, 401k. And of course, whacking us the whole time. This is where you have to put your money. Oh, sorry. I know you took a big hit there. We're sorry. And I know it wasn't your fault because we don't give you very good information. So we're going to adopt this generally accepted accounting principles here. That way you'll know, right? You'll know if we're full of crap or not. And everybody was If you were a publicly traded company, you were supposed to comply with this. And you know what's funny? Companies started doing it. And then the crash happened. And now, almost nobody does. And when you turn on the idiot box, they don't give you the generally accepted accounting practices number. No, they give you, what do they call it? The adjusted number. Why would you want to make a financial decision based on a fake number? Right? That doesn't make any sense. Why would the central bank not want to have transparency? We're going to find that out. I don't think we got very long. That's the sad part. I thought we were going to have longer. I did. I really did. Now I don't think we get out of the next decade. I don't. Not with Federal Reserve notes. Harley Davidson's GAAP earnings was zero. In other words, they didn't make any money. Now, they didn't lose any. But this was the fourth quarter. This was supposed to be their best quarter. Zero. On TV, though, they said they made 17 cents a share. Of course, that was well below what the people were expecting. I think the number was 29 cents. They said revenue wasn't even $1 billion. The company reported fourth quarter motorcycle shipments of just 43,489. By the way, was down 8% from the October forecast. Right? It said the company finished the year with 52,000 more Harley Davidson riders than a year ago. That was all their sales. U.S. sales fell 10% in December, the eighth consecutive quarterly drop, and it fell all over the place. And I bring up Harley Davidson. Why? Because really, what is a Harley? What does it represent? The status symbol. Hey, I'm doing well, and I bought myself a Harley. Right? I call them Viagra's angels. Right? They go up to Carefree over on the weekend. Right? They all got their Harleys out. Right? It sits in the garage most of the time. Right? It's a status thing. People can't afford it anymore. People can't afford it. I don't even know what a Harley costs, but I know it's not more. It's not a couple grand, right? Let's just say that it's not a couple grand. But what I love though is again, what's real and what isn't, and why is it another one of these promises that they've taken away? They promised us GAAP earnings. We aren't getting them. Well, you know why? Because Dow can't be 23,000 with GAAP earnings. It can only be 23,000 with fake numbers. Right? Same thing, right? All of this stuff, you only would believe it if the numbers aren't real. Because if we showed you what the real numbers were, you wouldn't believe it. The Trump administration's $1.5 trillion tax cut package appears to have no major impact on business capital investments or hiring plans, according to the latest survey. They said that the National Association of Business Economics, every quarter they produce a report telling them what businesses are saying about what their plans are. Apparently what they said is, tax cuts over. Thanks for the break. We love the buyback. We're not hiring. 84% of the company said no change. Patriot Radio News Hour. Final segment coming up. 800-951-0592. The Dow is mixed. The S&P, the NASDAQ are down. The Dow right now is up 50. Gold's up 6. 1309. Silver's up 10 cents as well. 1585. Today, I don't have a lot, but it's a good one. We've got 40 $5 Liberties. Now, we ran these on special earlier this month. Man, we had a lot more of them. Right? We had a big amount of them. Don't have the big amount, but we were running them at $3.50 then. Today, $3.65. And, obviously, think about what gold's been doing. That's just how it happened. We were in this situation where all of a sudden, right, we've got a lot less product and higher prices. But again, great fractional material. Right? Keep putting it away. We are barely getting started on the debt super cycle. The $5 trillion to $22 trillion, that wasn't the super cycle. Right? That's the scary part. That wasn't the cycle. We're just getting started on it. All of the fake data stuff, all of it. Right? Look at what Japan came out and had to admit. Hey, we created QE and we wanted to be right so badly. We lied about the numbers. All of them. And we're doing the same thing. You know it. We all know it. Inflation's not 2%. It's not even close. I mean, I know. I got one kid in college, another kid getting ready to go to college. You just look at your monthly year-over-year increases in your monthly health care premiums. Forget about everything else. Just look at that. You know what's coming. This isn't a scare thing. It's none of those things. Listen, do you want to prosper with what you know is coming? It's here now. Right? Deficits are going to be $1 trillion and plus every year now for, I guess, forever. I don't know. I don't know how this ends. And I've already told you. This shouldn't shock anybody. $1 trillion, $2 trillion, $3 trillion. Problem is, what happens at $4 and $5 trillion? Because that's where we're headed. Soon. How soon? Soon. And we got less than 10. Okay, this isn't going back to 1996 and all down the road. Oh, Social Security is going to be broke, man. I remember when I started here, it was 2042. Now they admit to 2032. That's what they admit to. It's really 10 years? Not even. We're not getting to 2029. Maybe 2026. Maybe we only got 7 years. Keep putting it away. Remember, right? The shift away from the dollar, it's here. I didn't even get a chance to talk about China, what they're doing with gold. Why did they announce an increase in their gold holdings? All of that stuff. Hopefully I'll get to it tomorrow. $5 Liberties. Listen, trust me, $3.65 is a great price when you think about where it's going to be headed over the next 5 to 10 years. 800-951-0592. Take the Radio News Hour. We'll be back tomorrow.